And we got to double check that you're.
Stream key and all that.
No, it should be live right now.
There it goes. Yep. Let me see if I can hear this
We
time.
are live.
We are live.
How do I copy this? Share. Wait a minute.
Moving in here.
Do, 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 do.
Oh yeah, now I can get. Actually, I'm gonna. Yeah, there we go. I got that muted.
Okay. All right. So what's up? We got anybody on
What's
here?
up? Not.
I got nothing watching. No watching yet.
Well, mine says 0, but I already got people commenting. All right.
So something's screwy. You are live. Two watching. There we go. What's up, everyone watching? Can you hear me
What's up,
okay?
guy? Better picture this time. Audio, that's good to hear. No, everything's cool with Xander. Just doing something different here with Snick here.
I'm just
So
asking if they hear me.
should be. So the audio's good on.
Good. I don't know why.
So
I hope you're not going to keep moving around, see if you could find more Wi-Fi. Because it's just a little bit choppy coming back to me. Hopefully it's not going choppy to them.
well, it is what it is. But got to improve each week. So we were just talking about some of the things we could do to improve the stream quality itself. Yeah, they're already saying my audio is cutting out. It's the Wi-Fi down here. Until I can get an actual webcam and hook it up to my desktop, which I have a Wi-Fi booster on. I really don't get a great signal down here. So
I thought it
next,
was me, but it's not. But I did upgrade my side anyway, just because. Come on, get comfortable. Just so I can support as many streams as necessary. Um, so two
we'll
people
have
watching.
that worked out by next week.
Yep. So what we're going to talk about today is something a little bit different. We're going to talk about Mustang history. And what I mean by Mustang history is when we were first introduced to Mustangs, whether it was when we were kids, by friends or parents, and how that evolved over our number of years being car people. And I'm going to let Steve start, and I'm going to say, well, how were you exposed to the Mustangs, and when did you start realizing that was a vehicle you were going to have, and when did you realize your first one?
Uh, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. My brother had a 92 LX 5.0 hatchback. It was Calypso green. And I still remember like instantly being hooked from day one, the very first time I ever heard that car. And I specifically remember that the sound was the first thing to attract me, not only the cars, but the Mustangs. Just the first time I ever heard it was instantly
Mm-hmm.
attracted to them. And my brother was at the time heavily into like modifying them and doing all it is today. Still, probably one of the stronger car communities there were. So at a very early age, I was exposed to modifying Mustangs and being around shops that were going constantly. Uh, and then kind of when I was probably 10 years old around that time, I still remember the first time I ever saw a total car. I was instantly um, that's just pristine. Where is it? What movie? Oh, Jamie was beautiful. think the dog got me.
Oh, really?
It wasn't me. What are we talking about now?
Chinese restaurants open.
Okay, what are Chinese? Okay. Can you grab me a beer? Thank you. All right, so where were we in?
You were talking about the 5.0 that I think your brother had.
Yeah, right. So 92 Fox Body and also
Carry
my
on.
sister.
I got to make an adjustment here. Carry on.
So my sister had a Mustang. So just like I was saying, for me it was at a very early Mustang that was kind of part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But even just aside from Mustangs, I mean, you know, our channels are both Mustang channels, but I mean, I'm really into all the cars. I'm a motorsport junkie. So anything to do with cars, motorcycles, anything that race.
Right. I'm the same way. I've been a car guy, and I have not been a specific Mustang guy, but you know, I would have one of each, to be honest with you, if I had the storage. You know, just because I happen to like the Z01, I happen to like the Challenger, and
I've never really been a fan of the Camaro, but I will say I'm a fan of Corvettes, especially the newer generation Corvettes, so like C6s and C7s. I love those.
I had a C6. It was nice, but it suffered from what most C6s suffer from. You know, a less than stellar interior, rattles and noises, and just, you know, but the car was quick. It handled great, stopped great, and it was a base. I put a Borla on it, 6-speed manual. It was a great, fun car, but it just wasn't very comfortable for me, and that was really quite a few years before I completely fell apart. So it would be out of the question today.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on. So what was your first, after the exposure from your brother's 5.0 and other cars, what was the first Mustang?
My man, I've had 30 Mustangs. My first Mustang was actually, man, that's a crazy story all in itself. I don't know why we didn't really think about talking about that one. My first Mustang ever was actually a stolen car and was confiscated by the police. It's a crazy story, but I bought the car used from a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Got the title, had the title notarized, all that stuff, and then like I had the car for months. I drove it to Florida. I drove it back to North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina at the time. I drove this thing back and forth from North Carolina to Florida. I actually got pulled over in it one time because I had these smoke, you know, back in the day, the smoke headlight covers on the Fox bodies. So I had the smoke headlight covers on, and I got pulled over. Basically, the guy just gave me a warning, which was funny because the car later on turned out to be a stolen car. But it wasn't really a stolen car. What happened is I guess the guy that had sold the car to my friend, he legitimately sold the car. He had the title and everything. But his deal wasn't a legit deal because the car was originally in the guy's mother's name. Right. And I guess what I was told later on, I got told the screwing deal, of course, but from what I got told later on was that the mother and the son were actually doing this as a scam. And they had done it to like 3 people already, where basically he sells the car and then she comes back and goes, oh, no, that's my car. You know, I want it back. And she reports it stolen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I ended up with like 10 cop cars at my house, confiscating the car from me, and there's nothing I could do about it because even though I had a single notarized title and my deal was legit, the deal prior wasn't. And I guess they had a big notary do the deal, you know, to the guy that I bought it from. So that was crazy. That was actually my first Mustang. Yeah, whatever. Phone in. From there, I got probably the car that I would love to have back more than ever, and that was my 89 Saloon Fox body. It was a Vortex supercharged car. I ended up putting nitrous on it, so I had the supercharger and the nitrous. This was back in
That thing must have hauled ass, eh?
Oh, like back. I mean, the car made like 525 or so to the tires off the spray. But back then, I mean, the car was a little lighter for one than these cars are now. Back then, 525 to the tires. I mean, I was wrecking everybody in that car.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you don't
And
need
it
much in
was
that
such a
car.
cool car. I miss that car probably more than any other Mustang I've gotten rid of to date.
Yeah, there's always at least one you regret getting rid of, no doubt.
Probably more, but that one always stands out. Like I wish I had that car. If I always kind of like randomly search around and see if maybe by the grace of God I'd find that car again like for sale on eBay or something.
Yeah, well, if you find a clean Fox body today,
Well,
that's not adulterated or whatever. Uh, you're gonna pay. Okay, I was just checking to
they're
see.
getting up in price just in general, box bodies, but
Yeah, they're getting up there, and if you have something special like a Cobra, you're getting big bucks, or you can
Cobras
get
too,
big bucks.
93 Fox body Cobras, they pull, upwards of 20 plus grand in good condition. So,
I believe
and
it.
they're
My
hard to find not in good condition anyway. So most of them are
right.
pretty clean and bring big bucks.
Yeah, I had my only exposure to a Fox body was my buddy had a brand new, I think it was an 89 or 90 LX notchback 5 speed. And he used to let me drive it around all the time. We went to the Jersey Shore and stuff. And that car was fun, And at that time, that was pretty quick, because most of what we were driving was not quick. At least my crowd. We fixed them up, but they were not quick by that standard. And
Right.
it was a fun car to drive, very fun. Those seats were very comfortable, and it was just sounded good. Turnkey, nice car. Didn't really need to do anything. They did do lowering springs. I think Ford might have been Ford Performance or something, but I don't know. I don't remember
Mustangs have
exactly.
come a long way over the years, but I'll tell you what, man, the sound of Mustang, like that is one thing I miss. Like Mustangs had a distinct, the whole time I was growing up, I can't really on cars, pre Fox body generations, but the whole time I grew up, Fox bodies, SN95, even the new Edge cars, there was a distinct sound that Mustangs made, and you can hear them from a block away without seeing them at all and know that that's a Mustang. And at some point along the line, my theory is that when they move the mufflers to the rear, because Mustangs that have this classic sound that I'm referring to, one thing that I can point out about them all that they have in common is that the tailpipes themselves, the mufflers are halfway, they're before the axle, rear axle, and then the tailpipe digs the car, and then they move the muffler rear behind the rear axle, and that seems to be the sound change so drastic.
I agree. When I first got my Roush, it had Flowmasters in the back. I mean, and it sounded good, but it didn't have that classic sound like you're talking because there's something
Yeah,
about
you're
that
going to use
position.
the same back mufflers that you were use, like on my '03 Cobra, for example. It just doesn't sound the same. But yet,
Right.
if you use those two-chamber Flowmaster mufflers on any of the Fox body, any car from '87, even before any car pretty much '80s, all the way up to after to 2004, they all sound that way if you put a set of two-chamber Flowmasters on.
Yeah, even if you
So I
listen to
miss that.
Stang Mode's New Edge, he had some exhaust. It wasn't a Flowmaster, but it was some. I, I forget the name of the company. It begins with a V, I think, but he had something put on, and it still had that sound that you're talking about, and it had that very chambered muffler sounding, and it was great, I mean, just really changed the dynamic of that car completely.
Guys, if any more than welcome to ask questions. I see Scorpion Cars said he had a question. If you guys have questions, ask them. If we miss them, say it, ask it again. We'll try to get to it.
Yeah, and we're going to do the best we can this evening, but we're going to remedy Steve's bandwidth problem by next weekend. Got some tricks we're going to do and see if we get a webcam. I gotta go get a water, and then I'll tell you about my first Mustang experience. I forgot that. Be right back.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'll just drink beer.
yeah, take the floor from me, will you?
Taking the floor. I'll just drop another. Guys, don't worry about it.
Okay, so back in the day, my old man used to, be a serious car buff, and he did a lot of flipping. He would buy stuff, fix it up, flip it, send it out the door, make a little bit of money, and had a little mad money on the side. And one of the first cars that I have a fond memory of was a 65 Mustang convertible, and it was like a pale yellow, that old classic pale yellow color, black top, black interior.
Yeah. Really ugly color.
Yeah, but, classic nonetheless. But I think the guy painted it, then we sold it to a little bit different, a little bit more of a modern color. But we're talking like 70s, 80s, and I can't give you an exact date because I really don't remember. But I was probably single digits, which was in the 70s. And that car, being a Northeastern car, was rusted to hell. And I mean, there was so much welding, so much work, so much fabrication to get it to look and be structurally good that, we never really got the body completed. I don't remember what triggered him to sell it, but he was able to get out of it, make a couple bucks. And then the next car was a Corvette, which was a 77, which was cheap. And then a whole slew of vets after that, a couple from the 70s and several from the 60s, which
that
became...
ended up a vet fan, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because right before my brother bought that car, I still lived in New York, and they bought a brand new LT1 Corvette, and that probably was the car I was exposed to, but they weren't totally happy with the car Mustang, so from there it was like all Mustang and family.
It's really the older vets, man, they're just... I don't know, they were just, they're so dated in so many areas, whether it's the power, but they do look very striking. They're very unique. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. In order to get a 70s vet to perform, you're doing a lot of work because it just doesn't have it,
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the vet until after C5.
I would agree. However, the 60s are worth some big money and really was...
I mean, I'm a fan and I appreciate all cars. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, something that I would aspire to own,
I would get a C6 again.
I would love to either have a C7 Z06 or a Grand Sport. I mean, I would love to have a ZR1, but realistically, I would never have a Corvette as my only car. I guess that part of me would say I am a Mustang fanboy, but I'm not in the sense that I'm not biased with my opinions. And if a car is better, I just don't play into that whole part of it. But you may see a Corvette on my channel one day. Like if after the GT500, I may end up with it.
You just better start building that garage right now so you can house them all.
I'll probably have 2 Mustangs before I have, a Corvette. I would at least have a couple Mustangs because there's a couple Mustangs I would like to have before having that. So,
but do you see yourself sending those cars along, or are you going to keep them?
Which ones?
The Mustangs.
The GT500, I can't comment. Oh, you mean in general, Mustangs? Mustangs will always be a part of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Um,
You would keep something and then get a vet in addition.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't just have a vet,
Right.
but I would have a vet. You know what I mean?
I don't know that my body can handle being in a vet anymore because of the things that have happened to me and the metal and screws that are in me. But I do like the C7s. Initially, I didn't, but I definitely like them. And I mean, another right out of the box car that is, it's quick, it handles, it stops. It's kind of hard to beat. It's a great combination, and I would definitely have it going again. Um, we're gonna flip back to you for a second
Yeah, I
because
got a couple questions here actually.
oh, okay.
Scorpion Cars, he actually wanted to know he's looking at getting a new car next month, and he's wondering 18 GT, what I think about it, my thoughts on the car in general. Hopefully that doesn't open up a can of worms, but I mean, I'm totally happy with the 18, man. Like, there's definitely some concerns out there that people have about them, and I sure say that those people are full of shit. So, I my experience with the cars and the friends around me that have them is they're great, and you know, definitely step above 15 to 17 in performance. You know, I'm totally happy with my 2018. Really.
You can't go wrong with a 15 through 17 either if you get
No,
the right
and
deal.
that's another thing. I owned a 15. I was totally happy with that car.
Yep.
But I guess, so the question for me would be is if you put both cars in front of me, which one would I take? And would take the 18. If you said 18 or here's an 18, which one do you want? It's yours. I take the 18.
Well, for
Then
free.
again, that's what I was just going to say. But then again, in that scenario, you don't have any money, right? So why wouldn't you take the 18?
I mean, we could argue and debate for the next 7 years
That's why I said I hope
about
that one
things,
doesn't
and
go
I don't
crazy.
want to do that. But
That's
I
my
mean,
personal opinion. He asked what I think about the car. For me, it was a clear in the right direction in performance. Let's say that.
no
Whether the
doubt.
cars will last, time will tell.
Well, you would
And
only hope that they
we
do.
buy a newer product, even more so. I'll go as far as saying this: since there are speculations that there may be issues with the 18, maybe you are taking a slightly larger risk by being one of the early, pioneers, so to speak, in buying one early and maybe whatever. So that's what I say about that.
Well, look at it this way: the 18s.
Yeah, Victor. I was actually supposed to go to the drag strip this weekend, but unfortunately they canceled tested noon on us. So the plan at this point is now to go this weekend, and it's already saying rain so far for this weekend. So if it doesn't rain this weekend, we'll be out there this weekend. Hopefully, to shooting for tens. Actually, having trouble getting my nitrous bottle filled because the only place that I know that fills nitrous around here, there's something wrong with his transfer pump, and he can't fill bottles right now. I'm sure there's somebody else I can find in the area, but that was kind of a last minute thing last time. I didn't realize I
Right.
need to look in advance. Like I was at the last minute. I need to go get my nitrous bottle filled. Add that in. But other than that, it should be the next two weekends have test tune scheduled. So it rained or was too cold this weekend. If it rains again this coming up weekend, we still got one more the following weekend before we go to. Actually, it might skip a weekend. It's on the 23rd. Is the next test soon after this coming up weekend.
Hmm.
If we don't, we'll be at Talladega and Barber doing road course stuff on the 30th and 31st. So hopefully we get it in before that. Question about on-track wheel temperatures. Do you think your temperatures get too high? In which car? 18 GT? To be honest with you, on the 18 GT, you will, when you say oil temperatures, do you mean engine oil or do you just mean oil in general? Because you will overheat the oil in the differential and or the transmission long before you get anywhere near too hot on the engine. That would become a concern if you were to put a diff and drain cooler on the car. Maybe you would want to go ahead and do an engine oil cooler as well. But yes, it will definitely, when pushing hard for over 20 minute sessions, it will overheat the diff and or the transmission. But it will go into liquid and protect itself, in case you were wondering.
You got another question?
Uh, Looking through completely. Uh, Chaser actually have a track day schedule. So Tunnel Chaser and I will be at the track together on April 27th. I'd have to double check the dates, but it's one of the last weekends of April. We'll be at the track together in Kentucky. So that's going to be a.
Have you talked to him recently to confirm?
He's already signed up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's already signed up. I saw him on the roster and everything. I haven't signed up, but the novice class has to sign up like immediately because it sells out so fast.
Right.
So I can kind of let it gag around and get in at the last minute, which is good right away.
Yeah.
Thank you, Super Chat, Scorpion Cars. I appreciate that.
So, getting back to the Mustang history, what was your first one that you purchased?
Well, the first one I purchased, that one we talked about.
Right. That outside. What was the next one?
Confiscated by the police.
Yeah.
The next one was my '89 Celine. And
nice.
That's my unicorn, man. That's like the one that I want back.
You just don't see those, you know? You don't see them. It's hard to find something that nice.
There was just something so special about that car. And talk about how, like, you know, eights is like the new tens, you know what I mean? In the court. Like, that's the best way that I guess I would put that car is like, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so crazy if I had it today. But back then, it was just like, you know, that's the equivalent of a 9-second car all day. Even though it would have never done anywhere near that, especially with any tire I ever had. But
I'm just getting told you're coming in choppy. Can you move that laptop?
my signal says full. I'm going to try call it. Not only am I going to try to get that webcam for next week, and that'll run on the desktop with the Wi-Fi signal booster, but I can also try calling and seeing if we.
Yeah, make sure everything's coming in right. But if you, because even I'm hearing it, and I'm just got someone from my.
Yeah, they're saying not choppy here, but it's definitely sporadically choppy. So.
Right. The quality itself is not bad. It's just that it's a little blippy here and there.
Yeah.
So you had the Saline, and then how many more? Because I know you're what, 5, 6 Mustangs deep.
Oh man, 5, 6 Mustangs in the past few years. After the Celine, I traded the Celine for a '95 Cobra. I wanted a Cobra. That was like before I've always had a thing for the Cobra, always. So like that was the car that I wanted so bad. Back then, this was right before the Terminators came out. So we're going back to like 2000, 2001, like that time. That was so at the time, my dream car was like a '96 to '98 Cobra. I mean, when I say dream car, like my obtainable dream car, the car I knew I could possibly get, and that was what I was in the market for when I bought the Celine. But when I went to the dealership to actually look at a '96 Cobra, they had that system there, and it was 10 grand. It already had a full build on it, heads, cam. It had the vortex supercharger on it. Like, it was just, I knew that that was the right thing to buy for them because that's what I was looking to spend was, excuse me, about 10 grand. And for that 10 grand, I knew I was getting a whole lot more car. So I went that route. And then later on, I still had that Cobra, obviously. So I traded the clean for a 95 Cobra.
Hmm.
And remember, I made a deal with the guy because it was like a Mustang dealer that I took my nitrous and a few other things off the car, to make the happen. And we did an even swap.
Right.
And I had that car for a little while. That was a fun one too. That was a pretty cool car. Did a lot of fun with that car. And from there, man, from there, it's just like a freaking snowball of Mustangs, dude. Like, yeah, I've Mustangs for as little as a few weeks. You know what I mean? I had a Mustang for as little as 2 hours actually. I
Wow.
went one time. Yeah, I went one time. I put down a couple grand. I bought a 2000 GT silver. I was taking it that day from the dealership to the drag. That's just how we roll. So I'm driving the thing from the dealership to the drag strip, and the thing loses oil pressure. I just start stopping. So long story short, I had that car for overnight before I made the dealership give me my money back. And I've had 4 S550s, man. I've had whole new Edge Cobras.
4 S550s. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. GT350, GT350R,
Right. And then
the
I had
current white one.
the current 18, and I had my 15 when they first came out.
I see.
Yep. And I had a 95 GT drag car project. That's where I pulled that original nitrous kit from.
Mm-hmm.
I had that a few years back. I never even got to make a pass on the damn thing, but it was a pretty extravagant film. I wish I had the channel and I could have done a ton of videos on that.
Right. Yeah. I don't have that many in my arsenal. I went from that 65 and I waited till 2007, bought a brand new California Special in blue, and loved the car. Sounded great, but wasn't quick enough. Then I bought the Vet, and then I went back to a brand new '08 California Special because the Vet was just not cutting it in the comfort and quality.
What year vet was that?
It was an '06. So I had a '07 California Special new, and '06 and Vet, which was like had 1,200 miles on it, and then I had an '08 California Special in white.
What did you like? I wasn't a fan of those, so don't be afraid to say the vet. But which one did you like better?
Between the Vet and the Mustang? Is that
Yeah.
what I mean, I like the Mustang. I just was not. I wanted more speed. You know what I mean? And I was gonna put a blower on it, but I just
The Mustang, no?
I just changed directions then. I got a question here. Hold up, Steve. Hi guys.
ahead.
Was the tranny weak in the SN95 Cobra? That's for you because I don't know.
The tranny should have been a T45. I mean, they were, when you say weak by today's standards, absolutely. I mean, at probably at over 500 horsepower, you start breaking stuff. But back then, most guys weren't getting anywhere near, 6, 7, 800 real horsepower. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying, it depends on what you mean by weak. I guess. If you're trying to,
Stupid fast truck wanted to know, and I'm just that era of Mustangs was not my thing. I just never Never owned one. I don't really know. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, hit me back up and we'll get you some more clarification.
Yeah. Well,
So
real
yeah,
quick, track Stangs, thanks for the super chat, $5. Uh, track Stangs and guys, you probably are going to see some stuff on that in the future. It's kind of one of our joint ventures that we're doing. One of my main goals for this channel, and just in general for social media, is to bring more people to the track, and eventually, I want our own track. So that's kind of a hope for today, and I'll probably be doing it with Nick from Track Stang. So you'll probably be seeing some point on the channel.
So going back to that transmission question, says he
Yep.
worked at Bosch at the time and had one for testing. A buddy of mine took it out and blew up the transmission. That's why he asked if it was weak. I guess the one you had was weak, but were they weak by standards? Probably not.
No, not like that. I mean, they
Yeah.
were actually work losses, in my opinion. I never had a single transmission problem with any of my cars back then. Any of the old 5 speeds.
Yep. I mean, I never heard of anything through folks that it was a prototype. Well,
I'm not
maybe
trying
there's the problem right there.
like as far as drivability and reliability. I mean, I've seen plenty of them ripped to pieces at the track.
Well, you throw too much power at it, and any transmission, you're going to have problems. Something in the driveline is going to go. That's for sure. And we're not talking about the shift fork thing for 18. We're talking about just a general strong trans that can, only take so much.
Ben wants to know what DOT tires I prefer on track. For DOT, as long as all you're looking for is that DOT rating, then I prefer the Hoosier R7s or A7s. I mean, that's going to be pretty much your ultimate performance. That's class legal tire for any class that's going to require a DOT tire. Some classes nowadays, though, they're restricting by tread wear. So even though it's a DOT tire, you may still not be able to use it because it's below a certain tread wear rating, which is kind of stupid if you ask me. I mean, I don't see why we're competing and we're on track. We should be able to use track tires. But I don't make the rules.
I got a question here. Same person. That 96, wasn't that the first 4-valve? Was that when they came out?
The first four, well, in Mustang, yeah.
Yeah.
They were 4 valves in the Crown Victoria before that.
Okay. Hopefully that clears that up. So I can finish my Mustang history really easy. I had that '07, I had that '08, and then a long span of time went by where cars wasn't my thing. I was doing the band thing, playing bass in local bands, having a good time.
Yeah.
And then I got this S550 that I have now, and I tell you, I just wasn't looking for the car, but that thing was looking for me. So
Yeah.
and I don't think that's the last of them. I do have a really, I got a soft spot for the GT350, but I don't know that I would tolerate the handling package and the stiffness of the ride. Well, I'll have to drive one day, but I just love that car.
I've never found super duper stiff. Because I mean, that's really one of the reasons that they use Magnamide on that car is to make it livable on the street, and then still have that track performance when you put it in track mode. It stiffens up for sure. And the R is a little bit stiffer than the GT350, inherently mostly just right down to the tires. It just those 30 series tires, stiffer sidewall, just doesn't absorb the bumps as good as the GT350 does. But the GT350 R&R is a very livable car. Some people complain about the torque. Like any true high performance engine, it needs to be spun.
Well, I mean, couldn't you just gear it up too to keep it higher if you
Well,
wanted to?
you can know how to shift up the Ford's engine.
Well, no, I mean, outside of that, I mean, could you change the rear gears to keep the R's up,
You could. I mean,
like
you could.
390s or something?
Yeah. I mean, except for from 0 to like 20 mile an hour, though, any other time I would just argue that you're wrong here. You know what I mean?
Right. I have never driven any other S550, and only driven an S197 that was lowered, which is a friend's car I almost bought before he did, but I wasn't quite ready. And it's a really
Well,
nice car. So I don't
I will.
really know what other ones drive like, you know?
I will tell you this: when I bought the 15 S550, I was waiting for the new GT500. Like I wanted that powerhouse. I wanted something that would be good on track. But I mean, that's really what I was waiting for. But when I decided to buy the GT350, like deep down inside, there was a part of me that was really kind of like, "Oh my god, this is literally the same car."
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, dude, this is the same car. What does it have? Like 80 more horsepower, 90 more horsepower. Like, and my car, you have to remember, my 15 at the time was catless, full catback, run E85 flex fuel tune. So when I bought the GT350, right up until the day of delivery, I was very nervous. Like, oh my god, this thing is going to be like a downgrade, or it's going to be no better in any way, shape, or form, or to feel exactly the same, and I'm paying all this extra money for it to trade for my car.
Right.
Made the right decision. The second, and then, like I talked before, I'm a sucker for the sound of a car. Right away, like, flip the throttle, and just had such a more exotic sound. I was already kind of happy, but then when I pulled away, it's hard to really put your finger on exactly what it is. The steering feel and the sound are the two things that I would point to the most, and those two things might sound like big deal, steering feel and the sound. But I mean, what do you experience with? I always talk about when you drive a car, it's the five senses.
Hmm.
That's how you works with your senses, and you know, and feel are probably the two most important senses in a car, in my opinion, when you're looking at enjoyability, if that's a word.
It is now. We'll just run with it. We create words here. It's no problem. I know I do all the time.
Right.
Hmm. Well, it'd be nice to check out some other S550s just because I went into this blind, as I said last week, and I don't regret it at all. That car is a riot. But if I was going to daily something, I think I'd probably want some more creature comforts. I should say monthly because I don't even drive daily or weekly, but that's another story. Um, but if I was going to drive something regularly, I think I would probably want to try that 10 speed. It's just wicked sounding. But part of me wants to build a 10 speed car, because it would be fun and it wouldn't take much to get it to go to get rolling. You
Oh,
know.
right. Dude, they are a lot of fun. I mean, the 10 speed, and I've been totally against automatics my entire life. Not against them, not anything like that. For me, I never wanted them. I couldn't get the enjoyment out of driving one the same way I got the enjoyment out of stick. And I'll
Right.
still stand by that statement. I
I
still
don't
don't
argue that at all.
enjoy out of drive. But I will say that the 10 speed has at least opened my mind a little bit. It's definitely more fun than any other automatic that I've ever heard.
It just sounds the part when I hear one ripping, whether it's in Mexico or down the quarter, and that thing's going through gears. It is music to my ears. I'm like, man, never in my day did I hear that.
Yeah.
And but I don't know that it would be the same with the 6 speed because I never drove a 6 speed either. I mean, the 6 speed automatic, like, there's a lot of good deals out there.
I drove the 6 speed 18 actually, and I was pretty happy with it. There was definitely an improvement in the shifter feel and in the clutch engagement over the 15 that I own.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it revs to 7,500, it's that much closer to GT350 experience.
I
And,
bet.
people that know me from the channel and have watched probably most of your videos know that we got the 18 from my girlfriend and she can't drive a stick. So if it wasn't for that, I still would have bought a manual. I mean, drag racing still. I grew up on drag racing. I still want to drag race, but I don't. It's not that important to me for it to be a couple tenths of a second faster. I'm not competing at the drag strip. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I would still rather throw games at the drag strip because it's more fun. I
No
only get
doubt.
10, 12 seconds to have fun in a car going down the strip. I want to have as much fun as possible.
No, no doubt. And on the street, I definitely want to have a manual for as long as I'm able to juggle that. But I can't argue that that 10 speed sounds phenomenal, and it's just like, and I have one in my truck. My truck's an EcoBoost.
There's just something special about it.
Yep. And I mean,
Let's talk about the GT500 a little bit because we didn't really talk too much about that.
yeah, well, that's all you, buddy. We should talk about GT500 because it'll be here. I mean, hell, we're climbing in, we're into March already, and time moving fast is another topic in its own right, but it doesn't get any slower as you get older. It gets faster, and I can't believe that we're already into March and that it won't be long before they release that. And we just got to get some final numbers. Hopefully, we'll get some final numbers soon. Horsepower, and pricing, and hopefully the pricing doesn't get out of control because that seems to happen.
I know recently everybody saw that.
And that's it, exactly. The markup will kill them for real people. And you're right, stupid fast truckers. I would buy one if it was 70-ish, let's say, ish.
Here's the thing
but
about
I am not going to spend 105 for it because you're already underwater. So
let me take that one a little bit because here's the thing. I've already dealt with this a few times already. Here's the thing: when I keep seeing people say the markup's going to kill it. The markup is negotiable, guys. Like there is a markup on these cars. There was markups on the GT350s, but they're not the same everywhere. So like, for example, on the West, really bad.
Right.
Those are like when you hear like people saying that, oh, these cars are going to go for $120,000. Most of that is these West Coast dealers, and they're dealing with people that are freaking stupid rich and got more money than they got brains, and that's where these cars are selling. But the honest truth is with the GT350, for example, is the average markup that was paid on a GT350 was $5,000 or less. Not on the R, because remember there isn't going to be an R for the GT500. It's just going to be the track package or the standard.
Yeah, right now. That's what they're saying, right?
Well, I don't see how they would fit an R in at this point because since they gave the track package, the carbon fiber wheels, the full track aero, the track tires, the Cup 2s, what it's got no back seats. Like, what else can you do to say that, oh, here's an R? Like, it's just, they're not going to, the difference is they're not going to call it an R and then say we're only building 500 of these like they did with the GT350R. And that's one of the main things that drove especially on the R, the markups through the roof. It was originally said that they were going to build 500 cars for over 2 years, which were supposed to only be 1,000 cars total.
Well, I mean, the only chance you have at not getting hurt from a markup perspective is waiting, like the guys are saying in my chat, a couple years, if that's an option. If that's not an option, perhaps you can find.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Anybody that really wants to buy a GT500 can negotiate one for $5,000 over sticker or less. Very simple.
I don't think you're going to do that at every dealer. You got to find the right dealer to play both.
Well, that's the beauty of that. There's 5,000, over 5,000 Ford dealerships in the network.
Right. And where I was going was look at what Tunnel Chaser did really well buying his R. Granted, it wasn't.
That I'll go with their argument. That was due to the fact that the hype is over with. You know what I mean? The Carter has
Right.
been out for 2 years. Everybody that had to have one now has one.
True.
But if they're right in the sense that there is going to be a battle for the early cars, no doubt.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, if you want to get one, you can get one for 5,000 over sticker. It's not going to be, you're not going to be stuck having to pay $20,000 over sticker to get it.
Right. Well, again, when you're a YouTube star like yourself, I mean, what the hell's $5,000? I mean, it's just not.
Well, I'm saying or less. Like
Yeah.
5,000.
No, I mean, there's no doubt you're going to find someone that wants to sell it, and it's just going to look at it.
When I say $5,000 over sticker, I'm saying you can pretty much go to any dealership and say, I'll give you 5,000 over sticker, and it's done deal.
I know my dealership in I won't say names, but the dealership I use, they're huge, and they're not going to go for that. I doubt it. I mean,
stay away from the biggest dealerships. The ones that are allocated the most cars, stay away from them.
Well, yeah, in a situation like this, I agree.
Because they have the most people calling them, and they have the most opportunity to make people battle against each other for allocation. You need to find a smaller dealer, which it's not that hard to do.
No, and you're right. With the internet and all the dealers, you should be able to find a good deal. There's no doubt.
I still have the list. I called over 140 dealerships to get my R.
Wow.
And I paid $3,000 over sticker, and everybody said the same thing when I was buying that. Oh, you're not going to get an R for less than $100,000. Well, I paid $69,000.
Yeah, and that's for that money, it's worth it. But
it's worth it for a little more than that, in my opinion. Really, I mean, the car's a bar. At sticker, the car was an absolute bargain. Granted, most people didn't pay sticker. Oh my God!
Are you saying your R is a bargain at sticker?
At sticker, absolutely.
Well, what does that make the GT350? Because hell, I could have got an 18 that they wanted to get moving for under sticker, easily under sticker.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to say, the R. I feel like a lot of people are doing that with the GT500. They're looking at what a lot of the numbers that the R did, and they're applying that to the GT500. You should be applying that to the GT350. Because GT350 have got, it's not a big deal to find them for even sticker, even early.
Well, I mean, I definitely think that
doesn't mean there aren't dealers out there that aren't trying to hit people over the head and say, we're selling ours for $10 over sticker for a regular GT350. They were out there for sure. But I'm just saying, for a person that's legitimately in the market and ready to buy, it was no issue to find a GT350 for sticker to 5,000 over.
And I think that's, I guess, thinking about it,
that's
and the reasonable. Because I think that car's got a lot of fantastic stuff in it, man. Just, whether you're talking about the R or not, or the regular GT350, which is a good segue to say.
Part of the thing the GT350 had going for it that I don't think the 500 will have going for it so much is the fact that it was such a bargain. They originally advertised GT350 starting price was $49,999. It was under $50,000 for the base model. No, you can't even get that anymore. No coolers, no rear spoiler, all that stuff.
Right.
That was such a bargain for what you were getting that people were willing. I think that if the GT500 comes out a little bit more competitively priced, to put it lightly, I think it's going to be a little on the higher side.
I got a feeling it's going to be high because, and I know Demon is not the competition, but Dodge didn't have any trouble selling that Demon for what I think was a bit much. But I would have never paid that for that, and I wouldn't pay that for a Red Eye. And yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but you can build it.
Don't want you to know this, but most people won't pay these crazy ADM. I caught many dealers in my search that were like, I'm like, hey, look, I'll give you 10 grand over for the car. There was a couple in Florida that wanted 15 to 20,000 over. I found a couple in Florida. I said 10 grand for the car, 10 grand over sticker. Oh no,
Hmm.
I got people fighting over it for 15. A month and a half later, that car was still sitting there. The guy still
Exactly,
wouldn't
because
take
they
it.
were full of shit. Nobody
Still
was
wouldn't
fighting
take
over it.
10 grand over sticker. So it's like, dude, that's not supply and demand. That's just you're not a good businessman. You
Right.
might think you are, but you're not.
Well, they think they are with everybody. That's the problem. That's a whole nother problem. But I just feel as though, you know, I'll be curious to see where it drops price wise because it even though we could sit here and say this is worth that much money, this is not worth that much money, but bottom line is people are paying for it. People are spending it on the Dodges. People were spending it on the GT350Rs, and it's likely they'll continue to spend. It seems that money is not an issue to spend these days. Economy's decent. People got money to spend, so hell, either they're buying them to flip them, or they're buying them to keep them, or drive them, or whatever. So I don't think we're gonna have any problems seeing them cars fly off the lot. It's just how long before you can get one for where you want to be. That's hopefully you could get a lock on someone soon.
I mean, luckily for me, I've been anticipating this car for over 5 years now. And I've literally been working on my deals since then. So I'm pretty confident.
I see. Well, man, I wish I was in the position. It's not going to happen. But then again, you'll just let me drive yours, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you ever drive it to Atlanta or out here.
Oh, well, I definitely will, because Road Atlanta will probably be one of my top tracks. When it comes to the GT 500, you're really going to want to favor tracks that are more higher speed. A
Are you
lot
going
of,
to track that car?
I mean, it's a track.
I know, but I mean, I don't know what. I don't even know if you bought that to track it when you already have the R. What would.
Yeah, but the R, like I said, the goal with the R is to compete in time attack and time trial. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because you
There's
have
going to
engine
be
restrictions with that, right?
well, there's all kinds of restrictions. Things that I'm going to be doing to that car that are going to make it really not so much expensive to run per lap or per track day, but when to be competitive, you need brand new tires, you need brand new brakes, So it's like it's not going to pay for me to go and do a track day for fun on my brand new, A7s and my brand new set of brake pads and rotors. When I need that to compete, I need a
Right.
fresh set of tires to be competitive. So
I
that's
see.
where the GT500 is going to be my track day car. But I'm going to daily. I'll take it to the drag strip, take it to the track. It's going to be my tool for the channel.
Well, no doubt you will explode, especially if you're one of the early ones to get
There's
one.
going to be a lot of people that jump on the GT500 bandwagon, but my hope is, as far as the channel is concerned, that here's where you are actually. No offense to anybody else that jumps on that bandwagon, but on my channel, you're actually going to see the car get used for its intended use, whereas most of those other channels, I'll just videos of the
Hey, I
way.
got a good excuse. Do you know if you look at my dash cam footage on my truck, the only thing you see is the inside of my garage door? You get it? It never leaves the garage. Oh shit, that was a terrible
Yeah.
joke.
I mean, I
Um,
got some videos that are like that, but I try to keep it down to a minimum, and that's why sometimes you don't see me drop a video for a week or two, because it's just I don't have anything interesting to do.
I've got zero interesting happening, so don't feel bad. And the weather hasn't really been favorable either. But I used to love to drive, and hopefully someday I'll be able to drive more than I do now because you know each vehicle I have is a unique experience. The truck is one thing. Yeah, it's a truck, but it's It's a great running and fun to drive truck. The car is another, and then the Jeep is unique, is saying it nicely. It's an experience, but it's also fun. It's raw. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting a ride in your 18. I'm looking forward to maybe being well enough to get on the track with you in the R. And hell, beyond that, I'm just, it's going to be just fun, you know, for me. That's all. I can't wait, dude. I'm excited for you.
The GT500, that's, I can't wait to get that thing on track. Cannot wait. Is that thing, tracks like Road Atlanta, you know, you could probably do 170 miles an hour on that track, the GT500.
What is your color of choice?
For the GT500?
Yeah.
My color of choice isn't on the palette.
Well, let's say realistically, what is it? What color do you want?
I want graphite, but I mean it's not an option. So what I'm kind of leaning toward, my kind of fallback color on cars has always been black. I love black cars. That's stealth look. So I'm thinking I may just order it in black there, and that kind of leaves me the option to maybe wrap it.
Right. You have a good neutral color to use in your door jambs under the hood, trunk,
Right.
that or gray or white. But for a wrap, I'd probably want something dark in the door jambs. That would be great.
What's up, Ken? Ken just came in.
Yeah, Ken's bouncing back and forth. You know what? I should have asked him to be on because he's got a GT500 next week.
Yeah.
For those that are on and that have joined recently, we're really going to push this thing as far as we can push it. I have taken a pretty good leap with some software that allows me to do a lot of things up to my internet connection. And
obviously,
we should be able to have.
One priority is improving the stream quality. We will get that.
That should be quick on your side.
Now it's my fault.
No, I don't want to point fingers at you,
but before, but this is me.
I mean, I'm not even touching anything out here. In fact, I have the ability to. I'm watching my total stream kilobits. I have the ability to increase our overall quality much more if I want to, but
we'll do it.
I'm not going to do it right now. You know,
don't touch nothing.
I'm not touching nothing today, but next week I'll up it another notch because I'm not even coming close to. I'm just following what they said to try, and now that I'm trying it, and I've ruled out anything on my side causing those problems, fixed my audio. Still got to tweak my lighting, but it's better. We'll get you squared away. I missed his stream too, and actually, a stupid fast truck is saying I miss his Stang Mode's live stream, and it seems as though they stopped after they were getting some traction. So I mean, what better to do is try and kind of pick up and not necessarily where they left off, but take it to another level. We have lots of plans for guests, and the software allows me to bring in people from anywhere, and I just needed to learn it. There's a lot to learn. I'm happy I got this far and haven't hurt myself at this point. But why don't you take the floor for a minute? I need to take a few seconds.
I'll tell you what, man, I really enjoyed that podcast. Like, I look forward to it.
I did too. I did too. Oh, excuse me, right back.
I'm not sure exactly why they stopped doing it. I mean, I know the Tunnel Chaser said something about it was just hard for both collaborate together and be consistent. And it's kind of a struggle because they both had to try. I think it was like an hour drive for one of them or both of them or something like that. So I could see where that could be a pain to do consistently every week. But that's the one this live stream, and the way we do this is that we're kind of just split screening together. So home, we can do that. Yeah, I agree with you on the pricing. Oh, I'll say this: I agree with you a little bit on pricing, but I feel confident that the car is going to be competitively. The car is going to be a direct competitor to the ZL1, and there's no way they're going to make the car. You know, the car's not going to be $20,000 starting price of the ZR1. So it's fair to say that it'll be within $5,000 to $10,000 of what the ZR1 cost. That's a very fair, estimate to make. And as far as I'm not so much concerned with numbers. I never am concerned with numbers. I'm more concerned about what it can actually do. So to me, if they brought out the car that it makes 500 horsepower, but yet it destroys a ZL1 around the track and it beats the hell out of the direction, I don't care that it makes 500 horsepower. So to me, it's not about the specs. It's just about what can it actually do. And from what I've heard so far, from people that have actually had their hands on this thing, that we're going to be pretty impressed with what we can do. So I'm on board. Chaser was just on a vacation. Don't quote me on that, but I think he was just away. And I know he has a full-time gig and stuff like that too. So sometimes it's hard. A lot of times I struggle with that. Like, I plan to put out a video, and then it's like, oh, I can't do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm working. It's like, next thing you know, it's like, damn, I do a video you can have.
Oh, okay. More
But
water.
yeah, I think it'll definitely be priced a little bit higher than the ZF1, and I think you're getting a little bit more, especially if we look at the top tier, ZL1 1LE versus the track pack GT500, where you're getting, look at the GT350. The R package is like a $12,000 package. That gets you the carbon fiber wheels and the additional aero. Those wheels, anybody can call Carbon Revolution. Those wheels, they're about $12,000-$13,000 a set. So you have to figure that option at around 10 grand is a value, right? The carbon fiber wheels alone are going to, pretty much dictate the price of that package. So I think that you'll see the track package GT500 be, quite a bit over what a ZL1 would be, sticker to sticker. But I think base to base, they'll be with brand of each other. That's what I believe. It won't be more than that. I wish I knew when I would take delivery, but unfortunately, there's no way to know that. They don't even have job one date set yet. So for those that don't know, job one is the day that they actually start production. Yeah, the base, GT500 is going to be nasty, man. Like, when base is actually a bad term to use when you talk about the GT500, because it's not actually a base anything. It just means, not the track package option. So when you say base, it will be a fully equipped car where you have all the options, heated seats, digital dash. The thing will be, fully opted. People will still consider that a base. But yeah, base is going to be bad car, man.
Yeah, that thing's sick. I was just trying to pull up an image of it because I haven't looked at it in a while. And
I'll tell you what, those dual clutch transmissions, man, that is one of the most. I'm so interested to find out is if we'll be able to put that PCT on any Coyote. And I suspect we will, because, like I was saying last week, typically the DCT have their own brain. So it's something that should be able to be fitted and not conflict with the factory ECU.
right.
I would see a GT350 how about this? Necessarily a GT350. I would love to see a Voodoo powered NA build with,
Yes.
with 7 speed dual clutch on in a drag. But
Yeah, that would be sick,
nobody's
man.
doing anything even remotely like that.
No, I mean, that would just be on another level,
Yeah, because
really.
I think you could really put some impressive. Yeah, you said my audio. Is the audio choppy, Ken, or is it low? But yeah, I would build that myself and do that on the channel.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get this. By the time you have that, I'll have a lot of things worked out over here, but we'll be able to go out and show your car via your cell phone or your Wi-Fi camera or whatever you're going to do in real time on the chat, and that'll be cool. That's why I went for this package. It's limitless. You know,
And once
it's
I get the onto the desktop with the Wi-Fi booster, and I can hook up an external mic and all that stuff. The quality should go up immensely.
right. That'll help there, but I just got to experiment with this phone because literally I just don't. I know I could see the phone and I can grab it. I don't want to try and do it live and screw something up because that's what'll happen.
I
That's
agree
my little.
100% on the GT500 not having a manual trans option. I wanted the argument. I really did. I wanted to make the argument that the car was just too damn fast for a manual. That they tested the thing and it wouldn't put down the power with a manual. And I walked straight up to Mark Whitman, who's the chief engineer for the GT500 when I was in Detroit, and why no manual? And he started to give me that same reason. And then I said, well, did you test it with a manual? And he said, no. So then I'm,
You know what? I can attest to, not that my car is going to be as quick as that, but having a manual in a car that has some
right.
boost is a handful,
And
man.
I think that's what Stylac just hit the nail on the head. I think that Ford said we're going to release this car as DCT only because they didn't want a bunch of people buying the manual. Most people are probably going to buy the manual, and they're going to go out to the drag strip and they're going to run 12s and a freaking 700
Right.
horsepower car, and all the freaking other, everybody's going to be on there. Ah!
Well, yeah. Well, it's easy when you can't when you're smoking the tires all the way down the
And when
track.
you put
That's
a
what it would do.
DCT, it does the exact opposite. It inflates those, it inflates. Yeah, exactly. On traffic 133. But it inflates those, numbers, and it improves them and exaggerates. So the DCC is going to be pretty sick. Like all bullshit aside, the ability to use actual launch control, and actually be able to rev the thing up to who knows 3, 4, 5,000 RPMs and leave almost like a trans brake would work. Like if you've ever watched GTR launch videos, that's what you can do with DCT.
Kind of like the McLaren, the way that takes off.
Same thing, yeah. The DCT can do basically what a full torque can do, sense that you can basically free rev it while stationary and then launch, which you can't actually do. You actually can't do it at all, even with the stall converter, because you're still loading the suspension
Hmm.
as it applies some power. It's loading the car. Whereas like a DCT is almost like free revenue.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy, man. And I mean, they could have went with the 10 speed, but I don't blame them for using the DCT because,
Well,
quite frankly, it'll be even better.
as violent as the 10 speed is on the 18, I can almost guarantee you that it would have been because the gears would have had to been spread out so much further out that what would have been the point of having 10 gears at that point? because the gears are just, if that thing with 700 plus horsepower rips through the gears like that, I mean, it's just gonna, it's gonna be a traction nightmare.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And the 18 shifts hard.
See, I don't have a drag mode, and obviously I don't have an automatic, but I guess when they introduced that drag mode, they just refined what they had on the 15 through 17, and especially having that 10 speed, it's literally like a drag trans, from what I understand. It bangs hard,
I'm not
right?
sure what pictures you're seeing with small rotors on the GT500 style because I can assure you the rotors front and rear are ginormous. And you will not be 18.
Right.
I would almost venture to say you won't be able. You probably get a 19 on the back, but you won't even get 19. Oh, the fronts are the biggest brakes I've ever seen in my life, but the rear brakes are still big. I mean, they're bigger than GT350R brakes, and you can barely fit the most friendly 18 known to man on the back of an arm on a GT350. Like the only wheels that I know that fit on the back are like the Apex track wheels or like the forge lines. Those will fit on the rear of a GT350 in an 18, but the GT500 brakes are big. I mean, they're huge. Pictures serve no justice how big those brakes are.
Hmm.
The rears are small. What are you, they're smaller than what? Than GT350 brakes? That's incorrect.
I'm trying to pull up a picture.
Regardless, I think the point that you're getting at, though, is will you be able to fit a drag wheel on the car? And no, you won't. Unless you do a rear brake conversion, you're not going to be able to put, you know, kind of drag wheel on the back. Like I said, 18, you could pretty much forget. Maybe if you had enough space or didn't care about the wheels sticking out 2 inches or so, might be. But I mean, for guys that are really concerned about drag racing and not road course, it's not a big deal too. Like, if you buy a base model rear brake side,
That is
yeah,
crazy.
he's talking about the rear brakes.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a rear image.
I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to stream them in though.
Do. That's not good.
Yeah, I'm not sure the size on the GT500 of the rotors, but I looked at they're big.
The front ones are ridiculous, man. I mean,
Largest brake I've ever seen in my life. Like I've never in my life seen a caliper that large. And like I said, I spent
right.
a
It's
lot of
like
my
a truck caliper.
where you would see a lot of large brakes, and I've never seen calipers that big. And that came to mind when I saw it, and then later it was confirmed that those brakes are actually the largest brakes ever used on an American car.
I'm not finding what I want here. I'll just go. I'll just go back.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the size of the rear rotors also. But like I said, the point is whether or not you can fit a drag wheel on the car.
For some reason, I remember someone talking about that though. At the show. But what it was in one of your guys' videos, but I don't remember what was said. So
We're talking about it. I mean, that's definitely a topic to be discussed because a lot of people are going to want to drag race.
No doubt. No, I mean, that thing is
Worst
going to
case
hit the drag
scenario,
racing scene
worst
before.
case scenario is you change out to some S550 rear IRS stuff, like the rear knuckles, maybe a lower control arm, and you can put on regular GT brakes on the rear and throw a drag wheel on that thing, and it's going to be a demon. Like at the drag,
Right.
there's no doubt about it. So if oh, I mean, it's the drag race, and that's what you. I mean, the car will it will do its thing. You just need, you know, and hell, those things need them too. They come to everybody's like, oh, yeah, it comes from the factory. Oh, it's stock, really, but I got to change my airbox. I got to pull out my dash, put a switch in it, and fucking.
Is this decent? Is this a good shot or not enough?
Yes, this is for setup.
Yeah. That's mean, dude. That. What size is that? 15 in the back? The rotor?
It's probably a 15-inch caliper or slightly larger, 15.1 or something like that.
Damn.
I don't want to say the specs because I don't actually know them. So.
I understand.
I know the front is like a 420 millimeter rotor. That I believe is exactly correct.
That's not it.
But I mean, you're not going to be able to see part of the not a 19. It's going to give you the illusion that it's a smaller rotor because it's a larger wheel. Like I said, it's not small.
Nope. I'll get this off now.
Yeah, that's also a front rotor.
Man, that is a car. That is a car and a half, man. Jeez. Now, speaking of that car and speaking of Cobra,
It says Motor Authority says 14.6. I guess we just have to wait and see that. Very well may be possible. But even at a 14.6 inch rotor with that caliper, you're not going to fit, an 18 or 17 inch drag wheel.
man, and I tell you, who the hell wants to do a damn rear brake conversion on it, man? That would just.
It would be easy. What do you mean? It's an easy. You don't care about those mean nothing to you. I mean,
Right.
let's say this: 80% of the braking anyway. I'll even go as far as saying for people that even want to do track, but they're not like at the advanced level or don't really necessarily care about lap time so much. They just want to go out and have fun. You could still change your rear brake to some, regular S550 rear brake, and still be able to track thing because 80% of your braking is from the front, even more so than threshold braking.
That's going to be some car, man. That
Yeah,
is something.
It's
It's just so advanced in so many areas, and I mean the competition it's pretty stiff. It needs to be. The ZL1 is no joke.
competition is crazy. I mean, all of them nowadays are crazy. How ridiculous these cars perform.
No doubt.
It's supercar level performance from 10 years ago.
It's nothing I ever thought I would see.
Even beyond supercar level performance, in some cases, from 10 years ago. I mean, the GT350R put down a better lap time in Luna Seca than the 458 Italian. I mean, like, so it's crazy what you now for under 100 grand.
True, it's a bargain if you think about it that way, and even getting something, like your 18, one modification, and you're going to be riding right on the edge of tens, if not in the tens.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Modification being nitrous.
Right. Well, regardless, it's one mod. I mean,
Yeah.
one mod could be a blower too.
Well, a lot of people nowadays too, and that's part of what I had in mind when I went that direction was people have cost in there. You know what I mean? So if you're looking at cost and you're not afraid of it, because a lot of people are afraid of it. Then it's almost unbelievable. You can take a bone stock car and throw 100 shot of nitrous on it, which really is not. You're not pushing that bad if you do the right thing. You have a proper system installed on the car. You have the right fuel in the car. You have the right plug, the right gap, and all that good stuff. Got all your ducks up. You can take a car, throw 100 shot of nitrous, legit go tens on a tire, of course.
Did you get the switch you needed, or they were going to send you?
It's on its way back. They got it. They tested it. They agreed to send me a new one, so it should be here tomorrow, maybe.
Is that a big deal to throw in?
What's that?
Is that a big deal to install?
Oh no, it's already all wired. I just cut the wires and send it to them. So I'm just gonna reattach the wires when I get it back.
That's great. So you won't have to go balls out then.
No, it's gonna. So it's just a matter of reconnecting the wires. I'll probably resolder them, of course.
Right.
I just need to refill. I do need to get a pressure gauge on there so that I can get the pressure to accurately instead of just warming the bottle. But hopefully this weekend it won't rain and I can get out there and get that first 10-second pass under my belt.
Yeah, I'm itching to take my car out just to just take it out. I haven't driven anything in quite some time, and I just want to get out there and drive something. And the car is begging to be driven.
Yeah.
So not that it's going to go to the track, but
If you ever do that drag event, I'll make a pass in the car for you.
yeah, yeah. Well, I can tell you who's not going to do. It's not going to be me. I can't fit in the car with a helmet. Nor
Really?
do I probably want a helmet on my head. That would rattle my symptoms more so than not. But I
I
haven't
just
put any time into the. For those of the listening, like Ken's on here, I did look at one track, Ken, and it was going to be more than I wanted to shell out. So I'm going to keep looking. I just been down for the count, physically, and trying to ramp this up with any extra time I had in the day that I felt with it. So now that this seems to be up and running, we got one more challenge, which is on Steve's side, which shouldn't be a big deal. And then I could just keep learning the software and get better and better. But I do want to keep looking and see if I could find something that's affordable, because the bottom line is someone's got to pay for it initially. And, I'm not expecting to get all the money back either. You have to expect to lose in a situation like that. At least that's how I'm thinking. So, how much am I willing to lose? I'm not willing to lose 5,000, but, a couple grand maybe,
What are you
1,500,
talking about?
because it'd be an event that, that would just
Oh,
be,
drag it.
yeah. The drag event would be something that would just be a one-time thing that would be just freaking killer. But it seems that I'm nowhere near the prices you guys get in Tennessee for a private track. So I'll
Yeah.
keep looking.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, I want to do the track day thing. And man, if you saw prices to rent like road course tracks, you would literally run it all over.
Oh, it's tens of thousands, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be 5 grand plus expenses to rent Atlanta Dragway private for 2 lanes.
What would it be? Because like, talked to Ken about this actually. Beach Bend, the drag strip, is literally 5 miles away from the Corvette Museum, which is where I typically track, which is
Right.
NCM Sports Park. It's not actually a Corvette Museum either. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It is the Corvette Museum, but it's not like a Chevy test track or anything like that. So a lot of people do get the wrong idea when they're like, "Oh, it's the Corvette Museum." Oh, I got a Mustang. Like you'll see just as many Mustangs, Porsches, everything else out there. But what I'm getting at is like, how cool would it be to have a full weekend, Saturday at the drag strip, Sunday at the track, all Mustang event, of course, anybody would be welcome, even if they didn't have a Mustang.
Right.
I mean, that would be like if we had our own like Mustang week.
Well, ultimately, I was kind of thinking going along those lines, but the first thing is to do is to secure the track with something I can afford.
Yeah,
Again,
but
if I'm
also
going
to
to eat
have a little bit
anything,
of something for everybody. Because some people are in the track, some people are in the drag, some people are in the autocross. We could literally tie it all in and just have like a full, like almost like a.
yeah, I definitely know like a Mustang weekend. It would be great, And if
Yeah,
there's some way I could figure something out, I would.
even a
I'll keep pursuing it.
car show, autocross, drag racing, all in one weekend. We just need enough, people that are down.
Well, it's hard to gauge because if I can't tell them a time or a date or a cost or anything, then I just
Sure,
felt out a few people, and I know there's definitely interest, but
yeah,
I can't see it going past like 20 something people personally. But then again, I don't know.
oh, easily. I definitely can do that.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know if I would want to do that for a drag event. Like if we were just going to rent a drag strip for the night, yeah, I would limit it so that we're not. I don't want guys waiting 45 minutes to make a pass, and then that just takes the whole thing. But if we were going to do like what I was saying, like have a whole weekend, a day at the drag strip, a day at the track, maybe do some autocross, like maybe literally make a full event out of it. I think we would definitely get some good, you
Well,
know.
I'll have to see how things go. There's like one more procedure, and they're trying to figure out what my new issues are. So, and
That location is actually in Bowling Green, Kentucky, but we're open to different ideas. There's another possibility in Alabama. There's a little. Um, I
well,
could.
ultimately, if I can get,
The problem is finding places that have drag strips and road courses either in the same location or very close to each other. Two other ones that stand out, we would just have to gauge where most of the interest was. Is there's one in Memphis, MIR, has a road course and a track strip, and I know they're pretty easy to work with. I actually know a group that rents it every year. I think I don't even want to say but it's reasonable for what you're getting. And we
well,
could do a whole weekend there. We could do autocross, we could do drag racing, we could do road course, all at the same exact location. That's in Memphis. And then
do,
also probably much higher price, PBIR down in Florida has a road course and a drag strip at the same exact location.
hmm.
Probably a little bit more pricey, but it's another option.
Well, I'll have to look around beyond my area once I, start digging again. It's just been difficult as of late, but it's something that I would want to do. I would want to do it once and do it right, like you're saying. I ideally
Well, I would like to
2 evenings of stuff and a day or two of stuff as well. You know,
Yeah. I mean, I would actually like to make a business out of it. I would like to do it full time. I would love to put on an event full time.
that's got to be a hard business, though, don't you think?
Take a lot of money or hard to run?
Um, Hard to run because there's so many variables that are out of your control, like weather and attendance and things like that.
That's the other good thing about track days, though. Is like when it comes to drag racing is very much so weather dependent in the sense that if it drizzles, it's over.
Right.
Track track stuff is different. I mean, if it rains, you don't get your money back. You don't like, cancel a day. You still drive around the track on your own. And in a lot of
That's
ways, it's just as fun, sometimes even more. I mean, if you ask me, would I rather track in the dry or the wet? Obviously, I want to go dry. I want to go all out. But it's a lot of fun to track in the wet, believe it or not. And you learn a lot about control, car control in the wet.
I bet that is one of the most nerve-wracking times is when there's some wetness and some foul weather and you're still ripping around. That's got to be one of those separate the boys from the men moments because you got to have some pretty iron nerves to do that.
Same as when you're driving in the dry, you have to understand your limits and stay within them. You know, it's that doesn't change in the way. It's just where that limit is changes.
Right.
But I like driving on the road. I mean, are you?
I see.
You're not. For years how to drive at that, you know. So the same thing is just you're pushing that limit a little further. You know what I'm saying?
Let me answer this.
Thanks for joining us, Victor. Yeah, unless you're on slick. Yeah, slicks in the rain is no good. Well, puddling water would be honestly one variable there, and sometimes when it puddles really bad, they will shut down the track. What can
But
be?
like you're talking a downpour. If it's just a drizzle, they'll let you
Yeah, I mean,
go.
if it gets bad enough, yeah, they're going to shut down the track for sure. Because what happens is when puddles start, there's no way to, you know what I mean? You
Right.
be perfectly straight and totally hook or flick sideways instantly.
Yep. I don't know that. I don't know that would be. I mean, going on the track in general and pushing your vehicle to, you know, we're not talking 65 miles an hour. Pushing your vehicle to triple digits and maintaining that has got to be its own nerve wracking thing right there. And then on top of that, adding some foul weather. Yeesh. Yeah, I mean, have you had to deal with that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, sometimes it's fine. I never pray for rain. That's the opposite. I always pray for dry track day because really, I'm a lap junkie. Like I love to go out and try to beat my personal best lap times and you know
Right.
share them and stack them up against others. But other than that, it's really a lot of fun to track in the rain. It's a whole different experience, and it really does teach you a lot about car. Does get out of
I
control.
could definitely see that, man. You're going to learn a lot of things about what the capabilities are, you know. And again, it probably the car generally exceeds the person's ability in most cases. Not yours, I'm saying, but in general. I
Well,
know I
I
would
mean,
never be able to keep up my car for sure, as
that's
far as ability.
really the car pretty much outperforms everybody's capability. Because even when you start looking at pro drivers, it's like, okay, well, I can look at this one pro driver and this one over here is fast. So is he not driving the limit?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, what is really the limit of the car? We don't reach the limit. Reach the limit of you.
Right. That's kind of what I mean
And
is
that holds true even for pro drivers. You know what I mean? That's still their limit.
yep. And that's I don't know. It'd be fun to learn some stuff. I would love to get, you know, well enough to go on the track, learn how to turn, learn how to do things that, you know, you just do naturally when you're driving, but you don't really know why. You know, I mean, there's just so much to know about that. And it kind of goes back to my buddy. I was never comfortable turning on my motorcycles when I was younger.
Yeah.
And he told me something like, look through the turn, don't look down at the turn, look through it.
Look
And
where
your
you
bike
want
will
to
go
go.
right through it.
Your
And he was
body
right.
will actually follow where you look. They actually have, we have the same rules for racing on track. I mean, you got to look where you want to go. Otherwise, you're going to go where you're looking.
Right. Yeah. And that, you know,
Yeah,
it's funny, but that really does have a lot to do with it.
yep,
And
100%.
it's not something I put a lot of thought into. What's this here? I know what's going on here. I'm trying to figure out why I keep getting washed out. It's this damn Google window. Every time I open it up, my face goes. At least it feels that way.
Oh, yeah, the disciplinary thing, there was a lot of this. That was funny. Like, I got such a lag over here. Like, I see things after I hear them. You were just like over there. It was like in silent. You're like,
right. I can see how that might have been weird. This new light, I have to get the intensity right because I actually have to elevate it a little bit and I have to get the intensity right because it's either washing me out or it's not bright enough. So it's driving my eyes bugging them out. So it's more tweaks.
Have a diffuser on it?
It's adjustable. I mean, it's fully adjustable.
Diffuser, or are you staring at a light?
No. It's a little square light, and it's for this kind. You can literally point it at you, but my buddy told me to put it behind the screen and point it up in the corner, and it seems to be doing great. It's just I haven't gotten it dialed in yet.
Yeah, you want to have a diffuser on it because otherwise, like.
No, I don't have a diffuser on it. It's not that kind of light. It's a little square like this. And it is made for video stuff just like we're doing. But I might be just using it the wrong way by pointing it in the corner versus having it facing me. I don't know. It's still more tweaks. It's brand new. I got to figure some things out. I might want to get one of those arms for this microphone because it's almost in my way. Lots of little stuff. I got to elevate this monitor so I'm not so tall in it. At least I haven't figured out how to get it any different, at least at this point. But, it's little stuff. All in all, we're doing pretty well. How many folks you got on your side?
10? 9?
Okay, I've had between 4 and I think 6 or 7. So, I mean...
I'm sure like I said, and I apologize, guys, but I'm sure we are losing some viewers just to the poor quality of the stream.
Well, I need to get consistent with the advertising. We did change the evening, but this is going to stay on a Monday and stay at 7:30, and I will work on a better advertisement. This is all new to me. It takes me time to do these things because I'm old and broken, so I have to figure things out and figure out when I can do them. But it's certainly a hell of a lot of fun. What's going on with the Cobra, brother? I know we've had some foul weather, but
what do you mean?
You still got to polish the passenger side?
Huh?
Do you still have to polish the passenger side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I see the thing is, man, is I have to do a little wet sanding too. So it's like it's fucking cold, dude.
That it is. I see. Isn't it? You got to touch up wet sanding because I thought it was sanded already.
Wet sanding too, still. So it's kind of like pain.
Right.
You have to remember too. It's like body shop stuff is like what I did for so long that I kind of like hate it. Anything that has to do with like the body shop, I really dread doing it.
I understand. I mean,
but it's not an excuse because I really do need to get it done. Really, right now, my excuse is it's the weather, man. It's raining every day. It's 30, 40 degrees. Right now, it's like 20.
Yeah, we're on a cold stretch here as well, and
I've literally gone out into the garage like 5 times in the past couple of weeks. Like, all right, I got all the parts, everything's here.
I've got parts sitting from last April.
Actually, I'm not doing it.
So I definitely understand that. Hopefully, I'll get them all done soon.
Yeah, it's stupid cold, man.
Well,
it's cold. It's
there's my reasoning for my heated garage. Love it. Gotta have my heated garage, and certainly like the air
I tried
conditioning.
fixing that a minute ago. You know what happened? Is like you guys complained about my track day shit last time, so now I'm sitting in like the little, I don't even know what you call this little thing, like a little circle chair. It's really low to the ground.
I've got to elevate this
I can't see
monitor.
the
That's for
poster
damn
though.
sure.
Hold on. It's no good.
Oh man.
Got to be a happy medium here.
Any questions from me?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the 60s this weekend, but it's supposed to rain. I can't wait.
Well, you can wet sand in the rain. Come on. That's no excuse.
Yeah,
Save on the water bill.
I can wet sand in the rain. Yes. But see, you have to understand, I have to wash the car before I can. That's another thing I can't do now. The excuses are piling up. I know, but here's another one for you.
Yeah.
I have to wash the car
Okay.
before I can start wet sanding and buffing it, because you don't
Right.
want to just be like grinding in, dust and paint. So
Of course not.
yeah, it's kind of hard to wash the car when it's either raining or 20 degrees.
Yeah, hopefully this is the last cold blast and it passes on and we can just get moving with something a little bit better. The rain has just been insane here, and again, we're dipping into the high 20s, low 30s or something like that. And I know that's not cold by a lot of standards. I grew up in New Jersey, so yeah, it's not cold, but it's cold
And
when
I would say it's like weird cold here because it's really like not that cold temperature wise here. It's like there's never any sun.
that's been the biggest trouble.
Colorado, people think of it colder here than Colorado because when it's in Colorado when it's 20 degrees, the sun's shining, there's no wind. Here it's like 40, 50 degrees. I can't take it. There's no sun. Like I swear, November, March, there's no sun. None. It's just constant haze. And it's always like this little 15 mile an hour, 10, 15 mile an hour steady wind. And it's just worst kind of cold.
Right. It's
And
more annoying than it is, terrible, unbearable type cold.
yeah, procrastinate. That's funny. That's what I was just telling Mike when we were talking on the phone yesterday, that I am the king of procrastination, not to be challenged.
You've got good excuses, I'll give it to you. I mean, the cold is definitely, the water, the washing, all valid stuff. I can't argue that.
That and I always have like a million projects to do. Or hard to stay concentrated on, you know, one thing.
Right. I understand that. But
That's the one downfall to having a channel with multiple cars. It's like you put out a nitrous video, you get a bunch of new subscribers, you want to see nitrous content, and then the next video is like the GT350R on track, and those guys are like, dude, where's the nitrous content? Got a
right.
nitrous
Too much
50R on track.
content. You got to bounce
Like,
around.
where's the track content? Like, more track content.
Well,
Yeah, my feet. Other
your feed has
computer.
been getting bad lately.
It's terrible.
You want to shut her down for the evening?
How long did we?
We're at
An hour?
1 hour 48 minutes.
Oh shit, we almost 2 hours. Yeah, I guess. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Any ideas for content? Anything you guys want to see for next week? Or any videos you guys want to see? Let us know.
I do have some plans for a few more things for my videos, but again, the weather needs to cooperate in order for me to get that rolling. So,
Yeah, work for a big thing. Um, my work is kind of weird because I work on my computer and I do email marketing and stuff. So it's like work can literally be, or it's like a doctor, man. It's like I'm on call 24 hours a day. I don't have like a set time that I have to work, and that does kind of conflict a lot of times with YouTube. So is that it? We're gonna wrap this thing
I
up.
think we're gonna wrap it up. I'm losing a few folks. Thank you everybody for coming, and we will do this Mondays, 7:30s on a regular basis. I will advertise it again, and we will work out the little bugs on Steve's side as well, just to get it rolling and keep progressing and evolving.
Yep. Hey, Style, I know you were joking about the discount code thing, but if you're seriously looking for 5,500, hit me up. Also, I did. I'm sorry. Hold on. I meant to respond when I got sidetracked. Full auto. I forgot to watch that link you send me. If you're still in here, can you send that link to stangstangs at gmail.com? Because I'll probably forget again. I'm just gonna be honest. Last time I said I wouldn't forget. This time I'll be honest. I'm gonna forget. So yeah, if you want to link to me to search at gmail.com, I will check it out. And to style like, yeah, Ernest wants to get one, I can help you find one for a reasonable deal.
There's got to be
Same
some
thing.
small dealers that are not going to hack you to death on those things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a bunch of deals lined up, but I can definitely steer you in the right direction.
Well, awesome. I got no more.
Thing.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
All right, let me shut this down. Do, 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 do.